The most underdeveloped real estate in the world may be your mind, and you're the owner. Most people think real estate means land, houses, buildings, commercial property, something you can buy, sell, improve, neglect, waste, or develop. But the most underdeveloped real estate in the world may not be land at all. It may be the space inside your own mind. And here's the hard truth. Some people spend their whole lives developing everything around them while neglecting the one place they have to live every moment of every day, their mind. Welcome to the Way of Permanent Transformation. My name is Stanley Bronstein. Today we're talking about the most valuable piece of real estate you will ever occupy, your mind. This is not just a clever phrase. Your mind is where your decisions begin. Your mind is where your habits are formed. Your mind is where your fears are rehearsed. Your mind is where your beliefs either expand your life or shrink it. Your mind is where your standards live. Your mind is where your excuses live. Your mind is where your future is either being developed or quietly abandoned. That's why neglecting your mind can be so expensive. Think about this. If you owned a valuable piece of property, would you let people dump trash on it every day? Would you let weeds take over the yard? Would you let vandals damage the structure? Probably not. But mentally, many people do exactly that. They allow fear to move in. They allow resentment to move in. They allow regret to move in. They allow comparison to move in. They allow old criticism to move in. They allow toxic media, toxic conversations, toxic memories, and toxic self talk to occupy the most valuable property they'll ever possess. Then they wonder why they feel tired, why they feel stuck, why they feel anxious, why they feel discouraged, why they keep repeating the same patterns. But the better question is not simply, what's wrong with me? The better question is, what have I allowed to be built inside my mind? Your mind does not stay empty. Something is always being built there. If you don't build it intentionally, fear will build there. Distraction will build there. Other people's opinions will build there. The past will build there. Old labels will build there. The world around you will start deciding what lives inside you. That's a dangerous way to live because your mind is not just a place where thoughts appear. Your mind interprets life. It assigns meaning. It tells stories. It forms expectations. It shapes what you notice. It shapes what you ignore. It shapes what you attempt. It shapes what you avoid. And it shapes what you believe is still possible. So when your mind is underdeveloped, your life pays the price. An underdeveloped mind does not always look dramatic from the outside. Sometimes it looks like a person who's busy, responsible, successful, and functional. But inside, they're repeating the same defeated thoughts, reliving the same regrets, carrying the same resentment, reacting the same way under pressure, avoiding the same hard conversation, postponing the same decision, believing the same old story about who they are and what's possible. They may look developed externally, but internally, their mind is full of unfinished construction, unexamined beliefs, unchallenged fears, old emotional debris, mental clutter, half built standards, and abandoned possibilities. That's expensive. An underdeveloped mind charges rent every day. It costs peace, it costs clarity, it costs confidence, it costs direction, it costs energy, it costs relationships, it costs years. And sometimes it costs the life a person could have lived if they had finally taken responsibility for what was happening inside them. I know this personally. There was a time in my life when I weighed 367 pounds. The obvious problem was my body, but the deeper problem was not only physical. The habits lived in my mind first. The excuses lived in my mind first. The lowered standards lived in my mind first. The old story lived in my mind first. The body was showing the world what had already been tolerated internally. Before I changed my body, I had to start changing the property where my decisions were being made. That property was my mind. I had to stop letting excuses occupy space. I had to stop letting comfort control the floor plan. I had to stop letting short term desire remodel my future. I had to become honest about what I was building and what I was allowing to remain. This is where the way of excellence becomes very practical. Excellence does not begin with pretending everything is fine. It begins with telling it like it is. So let's tell it like it is. Many people have not developed their mind. They've used it, filled it, distracted it, entertained it, overloaded it, worried with it, replayed the past with it, but they've not truly developed it. Development requires intention. Development requires standards. Development requires discipline. Development requires removing what does not belong and building what does. That's true with real estate, and it's also true with the mind. So, what does it mean to develop your mind? It means you stop treating every thought as truth. Some thoughts are just old habits. Some thoughts are just fear talking. Some thoughts are just wounds repeating themselves. Some thoughts are just the voice of someone who criticized you years ago and somehow still has a room inside your head. You do not have to let every thought live there. You do not have to give every fear a lease. You do not have to give every old story permanent residence. You can inspect the property. You can decide what stays. You can decide what goes. You can decide what gets repaired. You can decide what gets rebuilt. One of the biggest structures people build inside their minds is a limiting belief. A limiting belief is like a low ceiling over prime property. It says, I'm too old, it's too late, I can't change, this is just who I am, I've always been this way, I missed my chance, I'm not disciplined, I'm not capable, I'm not that kind of person. And once that ceiling is built, the person starts living under it. They stop reaching, they stop trying, they stop imagining, they stop expecting more from themselves. Not because they have no ability, but because their mental property has been built too small. But here's the truth. Just because something was built in your mind doesn't mean it belongs there forever. Your mind also has a diet. It's fed by what you watch, what you read, what you listen to, what you spend time with, what you repeat to yourself, what you rehearse emotionally, what you keep returning to. You cannot feed your mind fear all day and expect it to produce peace at night. You can't feed your mind outrage all day and expect it to produce wisdom. You can't feed your mind comparison all day and expect it to produce gratitude. You can't feed your mind defeat all day and expect it to produce possibility. Input matters, repetition matters, environment matters, self talk matters. The mind builds with the materials you keep giving it. So the question is, what materials are you delivering to the construction site every day? Here's a simple way to begin. Do a mental property inspection. Ask yourself, what thought keeps showing up? What story keeps repeating? What fear keeps making decisions? What belief keeps lowering my standards? What input keeps weakening me? Start with one thing, one thought, one story, one source of mental clutter, one belief that has been taking up valuable space. Then ask, does this belong here? Is this helping me build a better life? Is this true? Is this useful? Is this aligned with the person I'm trying to become? If the answer is no, stop treating it like a permanent resident. Begin removing it. Begin replacing it. Begin building something stronger. Maybe the first thing you remove is a sentence you keep saying about yourself. I never follow through. I always mess this up. I'm too far gone. I can't change. Stop giving those sentences authority. Replace them with something more truthful and more responsible. Not fake positivity, but truth. I've not followed through consistently yet, but I can begin today. I have made mistakes in the past, but I'm not a mistake. I have waited a long time, but I'm still alive and I can still take the next honest step. That's development. That's construction. That's stewardship. You do not rebuild your entire mind in one day, but you can begin. You can protect one room, clean one corner, remove one piece of trash, challenge one false belief, stop one destructive input, build one better standard, repeat one healthier thought, take one more responsible action. And if you keep doing that, the property begins to change. Not magically, not instantly, but steadily. That's how transformation works. One honest inspection, one responsible decision, one disciplined action, repeated long enough to become a new way of living. So here's a reflection question. If your mind were physical property, would you be proud of the condition it's in? Would it be clean? Would it be strong? Would it be protected? Would it be intentionally developed? Or would it be cluttered, neglected, overrun, and occupied by things you would never choose on purpose? That question's not meant to shame you. It's meant to wake you up because you live there every day. You make decisions there every day. You interpret life there every day. You process pain there every day. You imagine the future there every day. You either repeat the past there or begin creating something different there. Your mind is the most valuable real estate you will ever occupy. So stop treating it like vacant land. Protect it, feed it, govern it, develop it, aim it towards something worthy. Because the life you build outside yourself will always be shaped by the life you're building inside yourself. That's the way of permanent transformation. If this message speaks to you, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. New videos are released on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And you can learn more or contact me at my website, thewayofexcellence.com.